Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Squared Slice. I am your friendly neighborhood soda, and as always, I am joined by the Gorilla Monsoon to my Bobby the Brain Heenan, Dustin. I totally fucking blanked on your name for a second there. Holy shit!
That's okay. I'll take Bobby Heenan instead.
Yeah,
It's funny that
diet soda to my soda.
that's it. The diet soda that I actually hate. I hate all diet soda. They're all the worst.
So only reason I drink it is because my grandparents are diabetics, so that's what they have at their house. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten a bigger appreciation for Coke Zero.
Coke Zero almost doesn't count. It's like the only diet. It's so funny about Coke Zero. If I ever bring up like how much I dislike Diet Coke or dislike diet soda,
yeah,
everybody will bring up Coke Zero. Like it's such a funny thing.
It's pretty much they're practically the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. But it's just funny to me that everyone will bring up Coke Zero. Yeah. Like if you would have asked me before you said that, well, guess what? Diet soda I can drink. I would have guessed Coke Zero.
Yeah, it's one that I hated for a long time, but somewhere along the way, it's the last couple of months was like, it's actually not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's not like every single other diet soda out there. But nope. I don't know. That's as interesting as I could get. But I am waiting for a new intro. I'm always waiting for which tag team you're going to pair us up as. Oh, and it's been Monsoon and Heenan a couple weeks now, so I'm like, okay. What's it going to be next time?
Okay, yeah, I'll keep you on your toes. You never.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I just don't want to be the really bad tag team partner.
That'll take you 2 minutes to think of one.
I know. I'm going to think of that too. Am I your Santino Morella to your Vladimir Kozlov?
Hey, they were funny and they were gold. It depends. Which one's taller?
They were funny. That tea party.
Oh God, yeah. But which one of us is taller? I'm 5'11" and a half.
It was so funny. Yeah, I'm like the exact same height.
Oh, damn. Okay. But anyways,
I'm sorry.
We're not here to talk about tag teams.
We messed that up already. It doesn't matter.
That's live TV, folks. But yeah, we're not here to talk about tag teams. We are actually here to talk about WWE tournaments, because this week they announced the return of the King of the Ring, and as well as the inaugural Queen's Crown tournament. This is the King of the Ring is something that a lot of people have been wanting to come back for a while. None more so than Xavier Woods, who really wants to win it.
It's true. Yeah, I'm excited. Are you interested in like the Queen's aspect of it? The Queen of the Ring, I guess, is what you want to call it. Queen's Crown.
I'm very curious because they could go two ways with it. They could have Charlotte enter and win and make her the literal queen. Or you could have somebody else win the tournament, and then they could have a battle for who's queen of the WWE against Charlotte. So, I mean, there's two ways you could go from it.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they're doing the Queen's Crown. Is that what you said it's called?
Yeah, the Queen's Crown, yes.
And that's because I'm assuming the finals are at Crown Jewel, just like the men's?
Yes.
Okay, that would be why. I didn't realize that was the name of it. Because isn't that the current plan? It's the finals of both tournaments. Is that Crown Jewel?
Correct, yeah. They're doing the semifinals and finals for both tournaments on Friday and Monday. This upcoming Friday and Monday, and then at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Oh my gosh, people would be so mad if it's Charlotte. Because she always wins everything. Granted, it would only make sense.
It would.
It would be perfect. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, that's why that's why I say there are two possibilities. Either she wins it and actually becomes a queen, or somebody else challenges her for that title.
I like your idea. I think they should put it on her.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, a lot of people are going to hate it, but it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, because how else are you going to make her a bigger heel? Make her even more obnoxious.
Dude, I kind of agree with you on that. Or you give her the next challenger that way, and then she fights for her crown, and eventually wins it off that person or something. But that's a really smart idea.
Yeah, or you could have that new person dethrone her. It'd be kind of like a Royal Rumble type situation.
Right. I like it. I think that's pretty good. So then my other question for you, since we were talking King of the Ring and just tournaments in general in WWE, what are your thoughts on the fact that they're doing Because I mean, it is kind of interesting. Like this tournament's kind of being pushed really fast,
Mm.
and how it's on like 2 weeks and then 2 weeks and then there's a final. Do you think it's still? Do you think it has that feeling still of King of the Ring, or
No, it
it
lost that
doesn't?
feeling when it went away the first time.
And I think we'll talk about
Because
that today too. But yeah, I agree.
because there was something special. There's something special about having the tournament be an entire show. Vince McMahon hates tournaments, so that's why we haven't seen them in a long time. But there's just something special about them.
Right. Well, it is. I understand the concept. It is hard to watch the same people wrestle multiple times in a night, and 3 times back when it was like the show.
Yeah, but I mean, like we'll be talking about it. But I mean, for example, the way they did the WrestleMania 4 tournament, where they had Macho Man work his way through the 4 matches, and then you had Ted DiBiase pretty much get the easy route. Right?
Which we might as well just go right into that.
Yeah.
So re-looking at that today, I remembered that, but I also, it was fun to re-watch, like remember that. The fact I was like, what? Just looking at the tournament bracket, I laughed to myself. I'm like, that is ingenious.
It's one of my favorite tournaments for sure. It's one of my favorite WrestleManias to watch.
Is it really?
Yeah. I have the DVD.
I can't believe that. That WrestleMania is tough to watch for me.
It's I guess for me it's just the whole nostalgia glasses, because I used to rent the tape for that one all the time. It's the only WrestleMania I've ever seen that was 2 cassette tapes.
Yeah, I do remember that, because this was the WrestleMania that I almost never rented on my cassette, because again, as a kid, to me, I couldn't get into the whole concept of the tournament, like of watching Macho Man multiple times. And as a kid, I wasn't a huge Macho Man fan as a kid either.
Okay.
So I wasn't one of the kids that was bought into Macho Man. So maybe that's why.
Not me, man. I was all in on the Macho King, and I was all in on Hulk Hogan and stuff like that. But also, it's Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant on the cover.
On the cover? Isn't it a count out?
It is, but that is why that was the big draw of the tournament, was the rematch, right?
It was. And I remember that was, I think, the reason why I, even really young, rented it was for that match.
Yeah, no, that's what got me. But it was it's fun it's great to see the Macho Man's journey, and then to have that moment at the end, which is on the DVD cover, of him holding Miss Elizabeth holding the title. I mean, for me, it just sucks me right in every time. And it's got all the wrestlers from that era that I love to watch. So it's just a perfect time capsule.
I mean, just pulling up the bracket, is this not, what is that, 1988?
Yes, 88. I would have been 6-7 months old.
Yeah. I mean, if this isn't 1988 WWF, I mean, you got Jake Roberts and Rick Rude, which also I think was like a count out or something, because that was a bye.
At time limit draw.
Is that what it was? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 15-minute time limit draw.
I remember One Man Gaming and Bam Bam Bigelow have one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Yep.
And then Randy Savage wrestles Butch Reed, which was great. Greg Valentine versus
Hercules.
Warrior Hercules. Dino Bravo versus Don Morocco.
Yep.
Foofta. That is 1988. And then DiBiase and Duggan. Because I remember as a kid, I was rooting for Jim Duggan. I was a big Duggan guy. And I remember when DiBiase beat him, I was super sad.
When I going back and finding out that they had been part of a group called the Rat Pack together and had some great matches, I will admit, to see this in hindsight, it's like, oh man, really? They could do so much better.
Could do so much better.
Oh,
but yeah, it's amazing still. I understand, like, the fact that One Man Gang goes all the way to the semifinals to wrestle Savage. That's, and granted, he has a bye. Gosh, what an the way they booked that bracket, like you say, is so interesting.
Yeah, it was so genius. And it's like, you have Savage going through every round, and it's just like, it's the constant struggle. And it's like all the opponents, for the most part, are bigger than him, with the exception of Butch Reed.
Butch Reed's still a big dude, though.
Well, yeah, Butch Reed's a big dude. Valentine, like, is a dangerous man. could be a dangerous man. A one-man gang is the one-man fucking gang. And then you've got the well-rested Ted DiBiase with Andre the Giant in his corner. Like, talk about, the mountain, trying to move the mountain there.
Yeah, and and again, you might remember this just because this isn't a pay-per-view that I ever go back to, and probably, I don't know, it's possible, might not ever. What was the lead up at that point in '88 for Savage? Why was he kind of like the lead up going into that with Savage? Do you remember?
So I do. So I think I want to say it was September of '87. He was still the IC champion, and then he lost it to the Honky Tonk Man. And that turned him face when the Hart Foundation joined Honky to try to hit him with a guitar. So that turned him face. And then just from there, they were just building up momentum for him to be the champion. That's pretty much when they decided to turn him champ.
Right. Okay. That's what I remember.
The only lead up that I actually know. Like I've never actually seen anything from right before then. But I do remember that sounds right. Happened not too long before.
Okay. That sounds about right. And then to get to King Macho, that was that time when they were like winning the crown off of each other, right?
Well, yeah, actually, let's just go right into it. I was gonna say, do you know what year the first King of the Ring tournament was?
Yeah, it was the non-televised ones. It was
there was a few of them.
Oh,
it's actually earlier than I thought.
It's 1980. It's like 85 or 86.
1985, won by Don Morocco.
Don Morocco, yeah.
He's the only one to not carry the gimmick over because the following years when Harley Race won and then became King Harley Race.
Yep, which was so goofy.
Oh, yeah.
It was so goofy.
Yeah, even as a kid watching him at WrestleMania 3, you're like, really?
Oh, my gosh. Harley was so beyond his years by that point. That WrestleMania 3 match, have you ever watched that? The bumps he takes in that match are hilarious.
Oh yeah,
he is
for sure
over bumping the whole time.
He's way past his prime at that point.
He's a king. He's Harley Race. He's like a Southern badass, and he's like, oh gosh, yep.
Yeah. The following year is when we got Randy Savage becoming the Macho King, which as a kid was just, all I was thinking about if it wasn't Hulk Hogan was the Macho.
And then in between that, that was when, and this is what I remember just because, again, I'm a Hacksaw fan. That's when, and again, I'm going to mess up exactly how it happened, but didn't Haku, he got the crown from Harley Race. Got the crown
from Harley, and then, Jim Duggan got it from Haku. And I remember that because I saw a picture of him with Demolition. He's got, the face paint and all that shenanigans. And then, they had the tournament again after that. And then that's kind of what it... Macho Man took the gimmick, and then the winner afterwards, Ted DiBiase, didn't do anything with the gimmick. Neither did Tito Santana, who won in '89. Neither did Bret Hart in 1991, the first of 2 consecutive tournament wins. Yeah, it wasn't until the second one where they finally made it its own pay-per-view and a thing. And the 1993 Bret King of the Ring, I've seen, but I've only seen once.
That's the one I've seen. Obviously, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan, but that's the one I've seen multiple times because there is 2 of the Bret Hart's best matches are in that King of the Ring. That one was perfect.
Sorry, that was going to say that's one they did not have at the video store for me to rent. I didn't see it until years later.
I was going to say, I think even as a kid, my mom bought me that one because the Mr. Perfect match is awesome. And then his match with Bam Bam's awesome.
Which one do you prefer, that one or the SummerSlam one?
It's by far the SummerSlam one.
Yeah.
But this one's good, though. And the interesting part about this pay-per-view or this tournament, Bret Hart doesn't win any of the matches with the sharpshooter.
Really?
Yeah, he does a roll-up on Perfect or something, and then he does it on Bam Bam. Every one of them has a weird ending, and then he doesn't. If I'm right, I know for sure the first 2 matches don't. And then maybe he did it to Bam Bam, but I don't think he did. That was a random fact about that. Is that he did it. But if you want to watch a good match, everybody out there, Bret Hart and Bam Bam in that final.
So the Razor Ramon match ended with him countering a suplex from the top rope. Hold on. Semi-final, Mr. Perfect was... Jesus, so much to read.
I know. Wikipedia is over the top sometimes.
Yeah, small package, and you're
Small
right,
package.
reversal from there.
Yep.
And then the tournament final is a victory roll.
Look at that. Fun
Yeah, you're
fact
right.
for you today.
Wow.
Yeah, because I thought I remember reading that either Bret Hart's book or like a shoot interview where like that was a thing that he came up with, that he wouldn't win with a finish. So it makes him
Yeah, I
look
think
even more badass.
that's pretty cool. I like that because that's
Interesting.
you're right. That is pretty badass.
It is.
Yeah. And I mean, there are some pretty good talent here because you already brought up Mr. Perfect. You brought up Bam Bam Bigelow. Lex Luger was in there as well.
Lex.
Yeah, or like there's some decent enough talent in there. Tatanka. But unfortunately, what everyone remembers is the WWE title match. Hulk Hogan's last match in the WWE for 9 years against Yokozuna.
Yeah. Against Yokozuna. It's on the King of the Rings card. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That match is a rough go.
Yeah.
It's Hogan's on his way out. He went in there to put over Yoko and not care.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting match, though. There's something about that match that's interesting. End of an era. I mean,
it is. It's the end of the golden era.
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect way to put it. It is the end of that. Remember what we just said about 1989?
Yeah.
That was it. They cut. I mean, even look 4 years. Read off what you just said, Mr. Perfect, who was around in '89, but you said Razor Ramon, Bret Hart, who was in a tag team, Lex Luger, Tatanka, Yokozuna is in the title match. It's a completely different WWF at that point.
Yeah, it's not Hogan's WWF, but luckily the following year we did get a pretty damn good showing of itself, the 1994 pay-per-view, which launched the King of Hearts.
Yep. Which was a great gag. I always love the way Vince would scream, "It's the King of Hearts!" Oh, and Hardy came out with like that dark black and pink, and
oh yeah,
I loved it. And Owen, that little bratty Owen,
oh, it's perfect.
It works
so
well.
It's like King Joffrey before King Joffrey.
It truly is. And then you give him the panache that he actually, and 94 was his year. That was the year he broke up with Bret. That was, that was the big WrestleMania match.
Yeah, two
give
of
him
my
the
all-time
King of the
favorite
Ring.
matches. The WrestleMania match and the SummerSlam main event. Like, I think that one does not get talked about enough. It is a great match. One that they completely tore up the original idea and redid it on the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and Owen, that is the year, 94. It's just Owen's year. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, and this is another tournament which is pretty cool. But in the dark match for the tournament, we had Thurman Plug versus Quang. Do you know who Thurman Plug and Quang are?
I'm assuming Thurman Plug must be Bob Holly.
Yep.
And then isn't Quang? Is that Savio Vega, right?
That is Savio Vega. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez,
dude. As a kid, Quang was one of them wrestlers. Like, I think he was the first kid, because again, I was so young. I think he was the first wrestler I saw that shot the mist. And I was afraid. And I was afraid of that. The fact that this guy.
Him.
You don't remember Quang at all?
Well, no. Here's the thing. Like, I knew who a lot of these guys were. Like,
you don't need to, but.
Well, no. Here's why. It's because where I live, we didn't get Monday Night Raw at that time.
Yeah.
Probably didn't get it to the late 90s up here that I'm aware of if you didn't have satellite. So I didn't, while I obviously knew Diesel, Razor Ramon, like I knew those guys. Yeah. Like a Quang or something like that. Completely. Yeah. Unless I saw them in the magazine, I didn't know who they were. Yeah.
And the only thing, well, the mask he wore was creepy. And I mean, it's funny when you rewatch. I mean, it's so funny because he wrestles. Obviously, of course, he does. He wrestles just like Savio Vega. And when you're rewatching, you're like, "This is obviously Savio Vega." But yeah, he shot the green mist, man, and I was like, "This is insanity."
Yeah,
I don't know why. Who was the first wrestler you remember? Who was the first wrestler you remember maybe shooting the mist?
To be honest, on a consistent basis, to Jerry. Like, it's one of those things I might have seen the great Muda do before, but the one that like I really remember for the first time was to Jerry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because was there anybody doing it in WCW when you were
Well, it would have
watching?
been the Great Muta.
It would have
That's
been
what I'm
Muta,
saying. There's a
right?
chance I could have seen it, but yeah.
Even then.
Yeah, mostly I didn't see that. It was mostly like the like what we saw at WrestleMania 9, the powder in the face. That's
The
more
powder.
what I would see.
Yeah, powder, salt. Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, no, back to the King of the Ring tournament here. Like, this is another one which has a great lineup. Like, this is the quarterfinals. Razor Ramon versus Bam Bam Bigelow, IRS versus Mabel, Owen Hart versus Tatanka, and the 1-2-3 Kid versus Jeff Jarrett. Like, with the exception, like,
That's
no
good stuff.
offense to Mabel, with the exception of his and IRS's match, the other three matches, like, those are some high caliber talent in there.
You are a year away from King Mabel, so
yeah, that's true. Let's not talk about that one.
Hey, I'm a huge fan of IRS. As a kid, my mom loved IRS because she could not get over the fact that that guy wore a tie and suspenders in the ring. She just thought it was the greatest thing ever.
I first introduction to Mike Rotunda was as IRS. So when I found out that he was in the WWE prior to that as the US Express, I was like,
yeah, I know.
And then when I found out he was Captain Mike Rotunda and also the head of the Varsity Club, I was like, holy shit, this guy's accomplished.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, the Varsity Club. Yeah. Well, when you become such an iconic character, like IRS was, and people forget how long he was IRS for. I mean, his run as IRS was at least 6 or 7 years, because he was wrestling even undercard in like 95 and 96.
He was there from 92 to probably early 96, I think.
I think he was in the 96 Royal Rumble. I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, to be a guy whose name is Erwin R. Shyster, wearing suspenders and a tie.
WWE in 1995, September of 95. He appeared on the first Nitro, which, fun fact, was on my 8th birthday, September 4th, 1995.
Yep. Oh, interesting. He was on the first Nitro?
Yeah, as Michael Wall Street, but they changed his name the next night to VK Wall Street.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
God. Michael Wall Street.
Yeah, more commonly known as VK Wall Street.
When you thought Erwin R. Shyster was a bad name, then they called you Michael Wall Street.
Yeah, but Erwin R. Shyster works, whereas VK Wall Street does not.
It doesn't. On VK, Vincent Kennedy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sometimes people are too cute in wrestling.
Yeah. But back quickly to the 1994 King of the Ring there, I forgot what the main event was, and it's not a good match.
Ooh.
Rowdy Piper versus Jerry Lawler. That, for two guys who are considered two of the best of their generation, this is one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Lawler was, in the mid-90s, such a good heel, but nobody needed to see him wrestle at that point. Because people just like to hate him because of his mouth.
True, but he's not too far removed from some of his legendary stuff.
I'm not saying he isn't, but it was almost like you didn't need to see Lawler, because I have memories of some of those matches, and I actually barely remember the match you're talking about. But I'm not surprised. I mean, Piper's window is short. I think a lot of people forget that.
When you think about it.
Because he wrestled for 10 years after that, but he never did anything important in WCW.
Yeah, like, truthfully, the last important match that he had was WrestleMania 8.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you could argue Halloween Havoc 90. Was it Halloween Havoc 96 or was that Starrcade 96, the cage match with Hogan? You could argue that, but it would be you would have to do a lot of convincing. That
WrestleMania 8 match, though, that guy was in shape for that match. I don't know what Piper was on in that time period, but man, was he in the best shape he ever looked.
That is the best pure wrestling match I've ever seen Piper wrestle.
Yes. Which that wasn't his thing. We all liked him because he was goofy and brawler and had the most awkward looking punches I'd ever seen.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
I always love this sorry, not to interrupt, but I love this as you keep going. It's kind of like the Royal Rumble. It's always fun to talk about the tournaments, but it's fun to hear what the main event is
Yeah.
on a show like this, right? Because you
Yeah,
got
no, you're right.
all these matches for this one thing, but you need to throw a match or two in there, and there has to be some sort of title
Yeah,
match or heavy,
exactly.
So that's as interesting almost as the tournaments.
Yeah, for sure. And like, unfortunately, like the WWE title match wasn't sorry, WWE title match in '93 wasn't the main event, unfortunately. But I mean, it's unfortunate for the
Yeah.
East for those. They are almost overshadowed by two terrible matches. But we're gonna skip '95 because the less said about that one, the better. Hop right into what you could argue. Actually, no, you couldn't argue. It is the most important King of the Ring in history. King of the Ring,
It is.
1996.
Yeah.
What is important about King of the Ring 1996, Dustin?
Austin 316 says, "I just whipped your ass, Soda."
The birth of a fucking movement.
It is, and
Yeah.
and I almost feel bad sometimes is the fact that, and it always gets lost in the history annals, that the reason why it worked is because he beat Jake when Jake was on his big, like,
Yeah.
I'm clean now, which, no offense looking at him, no way, because he was in
No, he
horrible
was
shape
not.
and he was not clean. But that's what they were going with. And people always forget that. Like, the reason why he said 316 is because of Jake the Snake's gimmick.
Yeah,
It's just so funny that it worked.
You remember the moment, but you forget the moment before the moment.
Right. It's interesting because, like,
yeah,
it shouldn't work. Austin 316 shouldn't work because it was literally said to go that he just beat Jake.
But why don't you think it doesn't work? I think it's a perfect play on John 316.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it doesn't work. It shouldn't have. Because of the fact that it was put in this little bubble, like, okay, I'm using this as my promo against Jake, and then it just worked as the whole character after. I mean, it helps that he said, "I just whooped your ass" afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
But it's just interesting that way.
It's the delivery. It's Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass." Like, it's the delivery, and then to hear the story behind it. Like, he wasn't there when Jake cut the promo, and if Michael Hayes hadn't said anything, who knows where we'd be at right now? History would be totally rewritten.
Yeah. Oh, it is one of them. It's when wrestling is at its best.
Yeah. It's one of those moments where you look at, and they're like in the Doctor universe, it's a fixed point in time. They're meant to happen. Like Hulk Hogan beating the Iron Sheik. This moment, The Rock debuting.
Yep.
Trying to think of what other moments out there.
They're just
Undertaker, Kane,
right.
Mick Foley getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell. Like, that's one that had to happen. Things like that. That's one of those fixed points in times.
Right. And it's amazing. A promo is what is taken away from this show. Because honestly, Soda, I know you look it up or you've looked it up.
I've got the things right beside me.
What the hell else is on this show?
So this is the first tournament, if I remember, that didn't have quarterfinals with pay-per-view. It was semifinals matches where you had Austin versus Mark Marrow and Jake Roberts versus Vader.
Mark Marrow. That Mark Marrow match is actually kind of good.
Yeah, it's underrated. Very much underrated, but that's why Austin had to go to the hospital.
That's because did he bust his teeth through his lip?
He got his mouth busted open pretty good.
Right. Jake Roberts versus Vader.
You've also got, for the tag team titles, the Smoking Guns defeating the Godwins. Ultimate Warrior versus Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That was
this
on
is
the
one
show.
that kind of you forget about. Mankind defeating the Undertaker by submission, or as they say on here, technical submission, which I think means just pass out.
Interesting. That must be from the Mandible Claw, probably.
Yeah, and then like Ahmed Johnson defeating Goldust, and then of course your tournament final, Austin versus Roberts. But then the main event, Shawn Michaels versus the British Bulldog.
Oh, that's the Bulldog match. Okay.
Yeah, this is the Bulldog one.
That's interesting. By the way, I don't want to throw that under the rug, but Goldust and Ahmed Johnson was a super fun feud in there.
It was, because Ahmed was so game.
So game. He was unlike Scott Hall. Yeah. Scott Hall was not game. He should have been. Ahmed came in and loved it. I mean, all in on it. And Ahmed seemed like the guy, like even more than Razor, that would get pissed about this dude.
For sure. But I think with Razor, you could have gone like comedy gold.
Right. Oh gosh, it was so funny. Gosh, that is an underrated little gem of a part of wrestling.
Yeah, it's one of those you forget about it until you see it, and then you see the footage of Goldust trying to give mouth to mouth on Ahmed on the gurney. Like, that's not mouth to mouth, man. That's tongue to tongue.
The mouth to mouth on the gurney. I was just gonna bring it up. And then Ahmed gets up and he's just got gold just all over his face. Oh, that's so funny.
That's some great stuff. That's some great stuff. Yeah, I never remember. This is probably the VHS cover that was the most plainest. It was literally just a red background and like 2 pictures.
Oh, for this pay-per-view?
For this VHS tape, yeah.
What was it? Was it Bulldog? And it could have been.
It was Bulldog and Michaels. Yeah.
Jeez, 1996 WWF for you.
Well, back then, like they had those things made before the pay-per-view.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think anyone saw Austin 316 coming.
Correct. Yes, I don't think so either.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about the 97 one real quick?
That's the AAA. That's the early. Yeah, that one's okay. They're just still trying to push Hunter.
Yeah. Who did he beat in the final?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea.
Mankind.
I should have guessed, considering that.
Yeah.
The timeline adds up
because they had a great feud through that summer. They really did. Yeah, and Triple H faced all 3 faces of Foley. He faced Mankind here and at SummerSlam with an appearance by Dude Love. He faced Dude Love at One Night Only, and he faced Cactus Jack at that famous MSG show.
And that's a good match.
That's almost like, that one was like a coming out party for Triple H.
It was. Yeah, no, we don't need to. I don't think we need to touch it. The next couple are interesting.
Yeah,
really.
But there is one other match I do want to talk about that everyone forgets happened.
Okay.
Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels. This is the first time. Yeah.
Was that that wasn't for a belt, was it?
That wasn't for a belt, but it was because Taker was champ at this time. No, but it ended in a 22-minute double disqualification.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember the finish of that. Did they just start beating each other up, or what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were having this thing where they were tag champs, but they were, they hated each other sort of thing. One of those.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And then the only time you've ever seen the main event was the only time you'll ever see Farouk in the main event of a pay-per-view against The Undertaker for the title.
Was the Undertaker. This was the time, 96 and 97 were the times where, like, it's always said now that he's retired that sometimes you just lean on The Undertaker to get you through something. Like, that was one thing that was big on his 5-part thing on the network.
Oh,
they were like,
right, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, sometimes business isn't great and you need to put the title on someone.
Yeah.
Put it on Taker. It'll work. And 96 and 97, he has the title a couple times, and you can tell it's like, we can't put it on Brett and Shawn every 5 seconds. So we need to throw it on someone else to have random matches. Farouk was in a main event against Taker.
Yeah.
Yikes. And that was 97, which means he was in the First Nation.
That was the original nation, yeah. Savio, Crush, D'Lo Brown were there at ringside with him, yeah.
I know at some point we're going to do an episode on random characters we love. I love Crush. One of my all-time favorites from the 90s.
Yeah, he definitely holds a soft spot in my heart for sure. I can't wait to talk about Demolition Crush.
I love all 4 Crushes. That's the thing. I loved
even 4. The biker one with the weird tattoo.
Loved it. I don't care. I used to put a glove on and heart punch people when we wrestled, which is the dumbest move.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Because my favorite Crush was Purple Silver Crush. That was my favorite. But
the Kona Crush.
No, Kona Crush was before. That was Purple Yellow. The silver and black when he wore the face paint.
When he turned heel against Macho Man. Yeah, that was pretty badass looking.
That was badass. God, he was awesome. Love Crush.
So speaking of badass, we are at probably the most famous King of the Ring, besides 96, the 1998 King of the Ring, which was won by Ken Shamrock, but was overshadowed by one of the most pivotal moments in history that I mentioned earlier, Mankind getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell.
Yep. Sorry, Ken.
Yeah, this is one of the most memorable King of the Rings, but in all honesty, it's not the best, to be honest.
No, it's not. And it's, could you imagine, I know we're talking about King of the Ring tournaments, and actually Bruce Pritchard's show, Something to Wrestle, they talked about this, I don't know, a year ago, and they talked about this show and the whole they talked we had such high hopes for Ken Shamrock in this, and then Mankind fell off the cage, and then we were like, well, there goes that. That isn't going to work the way we wanted it to. Yeah. Have you ever thought? No, go.
No. You finish your thought. I was going to.
Have you ever thought what would happen? I don't like to rewrite history, but if Mick Foley gets too hurt flying off the cage and doesn't walk back?
Yeah,
because he shouldn't have. That never should have happened.
And if that was the case, we would have gotten, him winning on, that's going to put butts in seats. You wouldn't have gotten that. You wouldn't have gotten his feud with The Rock. You wouldn't have got him making Triple H.
Right.
He made Triple H. So if he got hurt in 98, that wouldn't have happened.
I know.
Well, it might have happened later.
Right. To the fact that where he got actually hurt and he didn't do the fall through the cage.
Yeah. He could have died.
Wonder, he right. He could have. This is stupid.
And he said it many times because when he likes to go up for the choke slam, that time he didn't. He said if he'd have gone up, he more likely would have over rotated and landed on his head.
Exactly. Well, and Taker even said too that he got close. If Taker would have stepped a foot further, he would have been on the same panel. Could you imagine Taker falling through with him? Taker blew out both his legs.
Yeah, and he already had a busted ankle going into that match.
Right.
So that match is just is a feat of unbelievable testicular fortitude, because there's no way somebody could have survived that. He fall through the cell with a steel chair landing right in his face.
I know. Besides Hogan slamming Andre, is there a moment in the WWE history from 85 to now that could beat that for second place?
Nope, none at all. You could honestly, you could make an argument for number one, though. You
could.
Yeah.
You could. Because, is there a moment that I think...
Well, think about it. Andre, amongst wrestling fans, Hogan Andre at WrestleMania 3 is the moment. But I think that this moment, Mankind getting thrown off the cage, permeated pop culture more.
Sure.
More people probably knew about. I think more people know about that than Hogan slamming Andre.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could use that. You could make an argument for it being number one.
Yeah, I think you could. Of the two moments that you've seen so many times.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. How do you top it? It's 30 years later. What do you do? What do you do to make a moment? Let's just start throwing people off hundreds of feet.
Well, to be honest, the next famous moment from WWE history in that lineage is Edge spearing Jeff Hardy from the ladder.
Yeah,
that's a good another
moment.
One.
It is a great moment. Because it goes back to what you said earlier. Some moments just happen too perfectly. Mm-hmm. That Edge spear on Hardy was perfect.
Yeah, not the first time they've done it either. But that was the one.
The way they did it's just one of the things where it just perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect spear, perfect hit of the mat, Edge's reaction after. Perfect. So yeah.
We're jumping ahead a little bit. Back to the 1998 King of the Ring. You had the team of Too Much defeating Al Snow and Head. And how did the pin happen? They put Head on a bottle of Head and Shoulders.
Oh, geez. And we think modern wrestling sucks sometimes.
Yeah. Jim Cornette likes to bitch about fucking what's-his-face wrestling the kid. Where's he yelling about this? This was pretty dumb.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah. The New Age Outlaws defeating the New Midnight Express. You put New in front of anything, they're done. They're kaput.
Talk about Cornette. He loved that.
Yeah. Now here's the so obviously Ken Shamrock defeats The Rock for the title for the King of the Ring. They had a great feud that nobody really talks about.
Yeah.
Their WrestleMania 14 match. Woo.
I think Ken Shamrock's legacy in WWE is relatively not remembered well, even though he had some awesome stuff.
And he did change the way they do the submission thing. He was the first one to make his opponents tap.
Yep. Which was awesome. I have great Ken Shamrock moments in my head.
Oh, for sure.
And the Rock stuff was great. But he's just one of them guys that seems to come and go when it comes to
He's an unsung hero of the Attitude Era for sure.
I think so.
Yeah, but this is the part that shocks me looking back on it. I thought the Mankind Undertaker match was early in the card. No, it was right before the main event.
Mm-hmm. I knew it wasn't the main.
Which makes Mick Foley coming back even more astounding.
Yes, it does. Because I knew it wasn't the main.
Yeah, it wasn't the main, but I thought it was earlier down the card.
Because who follows? Isn't it Triple H and?
No, it's literally Undertaker defeating Mankind, and then the next up is Kane versus Austin.
Kane versus Austin. That was the main event.
In the first blood match, where you cover the challenger completely from head to toe, and if he loses, he sets himself on fire.
Yep. That's always funny. Austin's talked about that a lot on his pod. I was thinking it was Austin Triple H, but yep, I remember totally the Kane thing. He's just like, how's it feel to stand in the back doing a first blood match when two guys go out there and beat the piss out of each other and throw each other on tacks and through? He's like, well, you just go out there and do your job and leave.
Pretty much. There's nothing you can do at that point.
Nope.
Nothing you can do at that point.
So funny.
So next up we have probably
Swipe.
Oh yeah, this is, let's just say Billy Gunn wins the tournament. Nothing good came out of it, and you had the weird Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a handicap ladder match for control of the World Wrestling Federation, where Austin went for the contract. Somebody raised it up, and we still don't know who. 22 years later,
I know.
It was like, okay,
but I didn't. I think we did. I don't know if you and I have talked about this on here. If that was off of here, I didn't even actually hate that briefcase thing. I thought that was clever. But the thing is
that they didn't pay it off.
They didn't pay it off. It was like when they hit Austin with the car, and just stopped and never brought it up again. We're like, oh, remember when Austin got by a car?
Yeah, it was like, oh, fuck, whatever. So the next year, 2000, was actually the first one that I was watching live for, and that I was really excited to see, because Edge wins the King of the Ring. No, sorry, wrong.
No, you missed one.
Kurt Angle wins the King of the Ring. I'm thinking 2001. We'll get there.
Yeah, the Edge one's good. Angle's was fine because they were just pushing Angle to the moon.
Yeah, there's really nothing special about it. The main event being The Rock and the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and Undertaker, defeating the McMahon-Helmsley faction of Mr. and Shane McMahon and Triple H for the WWE title, and whoever got pinned, you could pin anybody to win the title pretty much. So Triple H didn't even have to lose, or he didn't lose.
Which is a weird stipulation.
Yeah, not a fan of that stipulation. But yes, now we're on to 2001, which is the one I was really amped up to see because Edge wins. But not just that. You have the infamous, famous, whatever you want to call it, Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle street fight. Holy fuck balls. Did you ever watch the WWE Untold on that?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Vince McMahon was like inches away from calling that match.
Yeah. Well, because aren't they even talking, because the way that set was set up, like Gorilla's not too far from where they were sitting.
Whoever built the set forgot to put the sugar glass in, so it was real plexiglass. And when you watch it back, you can hear Shane McMahon's head bounce off the concrete floor like a basketball. It's loud. It
is. I should rewatch that. It's been a few years because it's one of the matches that and then what isn't it on that one suplex that Kurt Angle breaks his tailbone?
Yeah, he broke his tailbone in the middle. Yeah, in that sequence. It's like, dear Lord, these guys were tough. And then Kurt Angle that was the last match of the night. Thank God for him.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. In the fact that they I love when they, like you said, Shane's head hits the floor because Angle has to throw him 3 fucking times.
Yeah, and then on the last one, he said, screw it, and he just chucks him through it.
I know. Well, because what do you do?
Right? It would be anticlimactic to go around, and then with a broken tailbone, which obviously you don't know about till years later, he hits an Angle slam for the top rope to win.
I was just going to say the Angle slam off the table that's propped up is awesome.
Genius.
It's super cool. And, oh, gosh.
It's one of my favorite matches to watch of all time, even with the disturbing details that you hear about afterwards for that sequence. I still love to watch it. I'll never get tired of that match.
You never get tired of wrestling where it feels like two guys are beating each other up, because that's what we're supposed to pretend like they're doing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you kind of have to do it, and that's kind of what they did. And it's pretty awesome.
And so this pay-per-view is notable for two other things. Obviously, like I said, Edge winning the King of the Ring. This was essentially the start of Edge's singles push at the time. But it's also notable for one of the early shots of the Alliance.
Oh, is this the beginning of the Alliance?
The main event, Stone Cold defeating Chris Benoit and Jericho in a triple threat match for the title. This is where Booker T debuted for the first time.
That's right. That's right.
And also the match that broke Benoit's neck.
That's right. Yeah. I was gonna. Wow, what an interesting pay-per-view this turned out to be.
Yep.
Well, because wasn't the other big thing Edge beat Kurt Angle in the finals, right?
Yep. Edge beat Kurt Angle in the final with help from Shane McMahon.
Yep. I was fully on board that I thought Angle was winning this because Angle was still getting pushed so hard. I was like, he's a perfect guy to win 2 years in a row. He was perfect for it. And Edge was still kind of like you said. He was still in that. Is he a main event guy?
Yeah.
But they used it to do it and it worked. But yeah. Wow,
it worked to a degree.
That's an interesting pay-per-view.
And now the next one, which was the last of the pay-per-views, but sees probably the most dominant King of the Ring winner in Brock Lesnar.
Just mowed through it.
Yeah, this was his ascension. Yeah. Because right after this was his win for the title against The Rock at SummerSlam 2000.
Yeah, that 2000. It's kind of funny when you look at them last three. Kurt Angle, huge push, major push. Edge was already there, but pushing him out of the middle to the top, and then the Lesnar, they were just shoving it right down your throat,
And it worked. It worked.
Hey, they got him over quick. Him and Angle, man, they pushed them guys so fast.
And who did Brock Lesnar beat in the final?
Oh God. Oh, that's gonna be a tough one. I'm just gonna guess. Is it somebody we've talked about?
No.
Damn it.
But think about the year 2002.
Year 2002. Oh my God, I remember. It's Rob Van Dam. I remember that. It just popped in my head because I'm a huge Van Dam guy, and I was wanting it so bad.
Yeah, if it wasn't Lesnar, him winning would have made perfect sense.
Oh, they just never wanted to pull the trigger on old RVD.
Yeah, and this match has some heavy-hitting non-tournament matches. Like you had Ric Flair defeating Eddie Guerrero.
Random.
Yeah. Kurt Angle defeating Hulk Hogan by submission, the first time Hogan had ever tapped
out. That's right. Yep, that's that. Not to interrupt you again, because this is what we do. This little Hogan run, this like the 03, like the undisputed title run, 02, sorry, that little like 2 years, I kind of loved it.
Me too.
I don't know
it
why.
Was great to have him back.
It was great. Like I was all into it, and like you got all these fun matchups, and Hogan Taker, Hogan and Edge teaming up,
Hogan McMahon,
and
which
Hogan,
a coworker of mine was at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle by the stage to watch.
That's cool.
Like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, and that's cool.
I asked him the Roddy Piper pop, which sounds loud on DVD. How loud was it? He said you couldn't hear a fucking thing.
I bet. Oh, cool. That's it. Lost stuff.
Yeah. And so, like I said, this was the last of the pay-per-views. So it did not come back until 2006. And what is arguably the last great King of the Ring, King Booker. Which I'm not going to lie, I hated at first.
Oh my God. Oh, so did I.
I can't help but love it.
He was great in this role, and he made it work. It shouldn't have worked. It was so goofy, and it was so awesome. I remember I was at SmackDown in 2006 so I was a huge Finlay fan, super random, but I loved Finlay.
Hey man, Finlay's awesome.
I loved it. And so you remember he got knighted. Booker T knighted him when he was in his little realm. And I remember so I was at SmackDown, and I was relatively close to the entryway, way off to the side, but I was pretty close to it. And I made a Finlay sign, and I remember like people were giving me shit, like why the hell do you have a Finlay sign? Did I tell you the story?
No, I've never heard
Oh my
this.
God. So like I would randomly hold up my Finley sign. Like one guy in front of me is like, who makes a Finley sign? And I'm like, and he wrestled Bobby Lashley that day for like the US title or something.
Yeah.
No, probably not on this pay-per-view, but just in general. And because it's SmackDown. And he won the US title from him.
Oh yeah.
And everybody around me kept laughing. Because they were like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, this guy is the only Finley fan in the entire stadium. We're right next to him, and he's like overreacting that Finley won the title. And they were high-fiving me because they just felt so happy.
Yeah. They were. It was a pity.
It was. They were like, why? Why is this guy? Because it's Finley, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was. I don't know. Random story about.
Nothing.
And
then
of course when Booker came, and then Booker came out, I'm just.
Oh yeah,
he's
probably
awesome.
lost her shit.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is so great. I love this. I love everything about Booker.
I didn't realize how much I loved King Booker until, like, I mean, whenever he would pop back up, it was like, yeah, King Booker. But it wasn't until they just recently did the most wanted treasures or whatever when they found the King Booker black robe.
The robe was
awesome. That was a magical time. It really was.
And he wore that black robe for what? Once. What was the? Yeah, what was the reason?
SummerSlam 06.
Okay.
Or 07. One of the two.
Sure. Yeah. And his wife was perfect for it too.
Yeah. Oh, Queen Charmel. Oh yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And it was the last time. This is it. It was it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we had 4 more winners after that. Like in 2008, you had William Regal, who I think actually had a decent run with it. I mean, it was it wasn't great, but I mean, it worked.
Right. I remember that was the one where he beat Punk when Punk was in ECW. That was the finals.
That was. Why did it bring me to Sheamus?
Yeah, that was the finals. I remember it.
Yeah, CM Punk. Yeah.
Yeah. So it worked.
Yeah.
To get Regal over.
And then you had Sheamus, King Sheamus, which I forgot was that long ago. 11 years.
He wore that ugly ass crown. That was horrible.
Yeah. And then after that, you had to wait 5 years for Bad News Barrett to win.
That didn't work.
And then after that, another 4 years for somebody who I'm actually a fan of. I thought the gimmick kind of worked for what it was. Baron Corbin is the most recent winner.
Yeah. You know what? It all led to where we are now.
Yeah.
With the whole happy and sad Corbin, which is, again, so stupid that it's so funny.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the homeless Corbin personally.
Oh my gosh, great. They should have went longer with it.
Yeah, they should have.
Granted, do you follow him on? Did you follow like when he was in Vegas doing the stuff on Twitter?
I did. I didn't start following him, but yeah, I was seeing the posts. They were great.
That's so freaking funny. But then now I'm just hoping he loses it all again. Like that's my hope because that was great stuff.
That was great stuff, and like I mean that just shows like what I've always thought of him is that he gets it. He gets the world of WWE.
He is like Miz. He fully understands what it is to be. Do you want to be a guy here for 15 years, make a lot of money, be on TV, and be set for life?
Yeah.
Embrace this. And Corbin did that.
Yeah.
And so it works. It works. Gosh, so the question I have to wrap it up for you. Do you think the King of the Ring concept could ever be what it was? Or do we take this out behind the shed and just go, we got to stop. No more of this.
Honestly, now you could more than ever because there are a lot of wrestlers who grew up on the concept of King of the Ring and probably enjoy it and could probably make something with it.
Sure.
Will it happen? No, but I'm saying like if it were to happen yearly again, I think now is the time.
I almost think that, and again, this would be just so ridiculous. Like if you really put some time into it to make it a huge tournament.
Yeah.
It would never happen, like you said, because of Vince, because he hates them. But if you took 64 guys and made it like a month worth of stuff, every Raw, every SmackDown, it's a tournament match that leads up to. But that's the thing is, what's the payoff now?
Well, by that, what I would do is I would bring back the monthly pay-per-view. Like I would replace Hell in a Cell or something like that with it personally. But It also like it used to be like the midsummer thing where the winner would usually get a title shot, and that's kind of almost taken over by Money in the Bank, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't do a title shot anymore
No.
because it just doesn't work. I mean, the only way you could really do it, I think, if you're going to make it big and important, is if they ever unify those titles again.
Yeah.
That would be a way to do like a big one-off of King of the Ring, because then you put all the main event guys in it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Then you don't have to go through that. No offense, you don't have to go through watching Baron Corbin, and you're like, Baron Corbin's not going to win this.
Yeah, it'd be like watching that memorable Gold Rush tournament all over again.
Right. Because the issue is currently, even for Crown Jewel, I mean, it'll be great for the ladies because it's the first one.
Yeah.
So whoever wins that they have a lot of room to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But with the guys, what do you win? What do you win?
Well, I mean, like, we know why Xavier wants to win it.
Right. Xavier would work because
he's fucking Xavier Woods.
He's Xavier Woods, and he's fun, and he's goofy, and he can probably make it work.
And I mean, you're obviously not going to give him the WWE Championship. Not saying he's not a good wrestler or anything like that, but I mean, like, you have to give him something to make him up on the same level as Kofi and E, and this is the way to do it.
But they also just drafted him to a completely different show, so...
I love how Big E, when he came out this week, so it's like, yeah, and then to find out for the second year in a row, that Woods and Kofi were drafted to the brand that I'm not on.
Yeah, welcome to the WWE, Big E, where they don't care.
So who do you think? So final predictions before we wrap up. Who do you think is going to win the two tournaments?
Oof.
Or sorry, they haven't announced anything. So I was just going to say, who do you want to win?
Are the full? Or do you know exactly who's in them right now?
No, they haven't announced.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I mean, if you're going to put the push on anyone, for ladies, if you're not going to do Charlotte, which I don't know if they should, I don't think this is a point. I mean, they want to, and I love her. If they want to finally push Liv Morgan like they've been talking about, let's do it.
Yeah,
this is the way to do it. I think Carmella's another good, easy one because
I was going to say Carmella. Yeah, she would have fun as the bad heel, as the
and it fits, and it fits the gimmick.
Yeah,
like it fits her whole shtick. And the Mella's money thing I was so into that, and then they took it away or whatever happened, and she's been trying to like kind of grab that back again, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So maybe with this is how you get it to work.
I'll never not be a fan of Carmella.
I love Carmella. I'm also a big fan. I don't know. Who else do you think?
No, that's really about it. Like, I mean, none of the heavy hitters really, unless you're not going to give the winner a title shot. Then if you want to do something great, go Natty for the legacy.
Oh, Natty's not. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And also, I mean, this is nothing to say, but how much longer is Natty going to do this?
Right. She's been there a long time, and I think it would be great because her uncles did it. Now she did it.
That would be good. That's a good choice. I wouldn't have thought of Natty, but Natty's a really good choice.
And Natty's a great worker to help build the stars. But yeah, I think this should be her last hurrah.
That would be a great way to go out. I mean, it's not going to happen.
They just split her and Tamina up, so who knows?
Well, yeah, I think that's a good one. I like that one. That's not what I would have thought of, but I think that would be fun if it's not going anywhere after. But it is the first one. You almost want it to go somewhere.
True.
I don't know. For the guys, what do you think?
Returning Miz.
Is he going to return before Dancing with the Stars is over?
Well, how far in advance are those taped? Or are they live?
They're live.
Ooh.
And my wife watches literally before we jumped on the stream. I just watched Miz not get eliminated, so he's still on the show.
Okay, then definitely, so not him. So I mean, like, sentimental favorite is obviously Woods.
Sure.
I
mean, unless
who would benefit from it.
That's what I'm. Yeah. Again, I don't know what the benefit is.
I would like to see Montez Ford. I think that would be fucking just fun.
That would be fun. Because we all know that at some point they're going to split those two up, and Montez Ford's going to be his own guy because he's the obvious standout in that group.
Yeah, and if that Roman Reigns match didn't show it, I don't know what will.
He's awesome. But again, a typical tag team, it's pretty rare. One guy's better than the other one. It is just how tag teams work. I think, I just honestly don't know, because I don't know what the point is.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible, but give it to Woods. Who cares?
Pretty much, that's give it to Woods.
Put Woods and Kofi, like, make them have to be the finals. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be great.
Because then at least there's something.
Put Big E on commentary.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And you got to kind of throw in, like, they're going to go to Saudi Arabia for it. So, like, who do they want in it for them? Because,
well, it's more like, who does the Prince want? No, I'm kidding.
Not wrong. I'm sure there's people that, because we all know that there's some people that they like. So,
well, that's why Shawn Michaels came out of retirement.
Right. That's why Goldberg's having his final match.
Was fat.
Why do you think Goldberg's going to do his retirement match there?
Yeah, because the check was fat. I'm not going to lie. This is probably this is going to be the first Crown Rule I'm more likely going to check out. I still haven't watched any of those Saudi Arabia shows because none of them appeal to me. This one does.
It does. Well, because I think WWE gets it. I know we're now tangenting at the end, but I think they get it that, yes, we need to, especially after the couple atrocities that happened. They're like, okay, we got to give them a good show and get the money, but we still got to, like, do something here.
Yeah. Because we don't want to miss another mishap like Goldberg and Taker that one year.
Well, I mean, I know you said you didn't watch it, but you didn't watch the tag team, the Kane and Taker versus DX.
I've seen parts of it through, like, the Undertaker documentary and stuff like that. And I know. Like, Kane's mask coming off in the middle of the match. Dear Lord.
Oh, my gosh. It could not have gone. I mean, I know Taker and Goldberg went bad, but I think that tag match is almost.
And Triple H tearing his
I know.
Peck? Was his
peck?
We'll try to set one of the two.
It was one of the two.
Yeah.
That was
that match is Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
It did. And it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. But I don't know. I think I agree with you. Just go with Xavier. What else are you going to do? Or put it on a new guy. You just brought up. Do you think they throw Gable Stevenson right in?
Please no.
I mean, that would be fast, but they're going to.
That would be the fastest for anybody.
They're going to Kurt Angle the shit out of that guy. And it. He's going to be on TV and pushing.
If he started, say, 6 months ago and they're Kurt Angle them, then I'd say, yeah, go for it. But he hasn't wrestled the match yet. I know.
So, I mean, maybe Jeff Hardy. Why not?
You think?
I don't know. Just somebody random. Because he's a guy I could see the Saudis, like you said, liking. Because they love the old wrestling.
The old school, yeah.
Why not give it to Jeff? What else? What else is he doing? He's hanging out. Whatever.
Well, he's apparently going in a feud with Austin Theory.
I love Austin Theory.
And on that note, where can everybody find you, Dustin?
You can find me on Twitter at Dustin Dubuque, not at Diet Soda, because Diet Soda sucks. But I like my soda. You're my soda.
Yay.
Where can they find you?
You can find the original soda at soda_the_saxman on Instagram and Twitter. You could also find me on the Schmoes of the North channel, pretty much on every goddamn show on the channel. Tune in tomorrow night over on Shooting the Breeze. We're going to be reviewing Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. Boy, was that a movie.
That's a great movie.
I watched it for the first time last night.
Really?
Holy
Good for you.
Shit. Holy shit. That's all I got to say.
Was a movie I was so afraid of as a kid.
Yeah. I can believe it, but it's so laughably bad. It's like the Room of horror movies.
It's so bad. As a kid, I was afraid, but it's bad.
Yeah. And then on Friday night, we're actually swapping shows. We're going to be doing, let's talk about Star Wars on Friday night because the Schmoedown pay-per-view is on Saturday, and that's when we're going to do our Schmoedown in Canada. And on Let's Talk About Star Wars, we're going to be having a game called Do They Star War? Basically, you have to take, you choose 5 fictional characters that are not in Star Wars and present a case for them to be in Star Wars and who they would be.
Interesting.
And there's some interesting ones. I've seen all the picks already. There's some interesting ones.
Interesting. That's a good game.
That's a good concept. So yeah, that's where you can find me. So on behalf of myself and Dustin, everybody here, the Schmoes of the North Network, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next week on the Squared Slice. Stay sweaty, everybody, and enjoy wrestling.